post-mortem examination has established that a body found at a cement works in Kent is not that of the missing girl, Danielle Jones. Danielle, who was 15, disappeared near the works last summer. Police have launched a murder inquiry to establish the identity of the remains.
I don't think it's ever going to get any better. My stomach is churning at the thought of it. I don't know where she is still. Don't know where she is.
So, can you start moving across that way? Anyone else? Keep moving across.
I still look out the car window when we drive along. We went out yesterday, and all the time you're looking across the fields thinking, it could be there. I just don't know if we'll ever know. That's unbearable to me.
On a Monday morning in June 2001, Danielle Jones left home to catch the bus to school. On the 19th of December last year, Stuart Campbell, Danielle's uncle, was convicted of her kidnap and murder. Her body has still not been found.
Jane's going to take you swimming tonight. Where's that programme thing that had the...
I've got that.
For 18 months, Linda and Tony Jones and their sons, Mitchell and Ryan, have tried to come to terms with Danielle's disappearance. This film follows them over the last year as they await the trial and any news of the search to find Danielle.
Yeah, but I mean, I can pick him up. We're saying about going by train one way, and I can pick him up.
Linda began a personal video diary to record the thoughts and feelings that she was finding it increasingly difficult to talk about.
"62 weeks today since I last saw Danielle. It's just the marking of another week. She's not here. 62 weeks is a year and 10 weeks. And all those times I'm going to have to go through, and it's going to be 10 years and 10 weeks. And 15 years and 10 weeks. I've got to try and get them to lead a normal life in that time. How do you do it? How do you get them to lead a normal life?
The first Linda and Tony knew of a problem was when Danielle's school phoned to ask why she was absent.
I thought even if she'd bunked school for the day, she would. Once it got dark, she would be home. I was pretty certain of that. She was frightened of the dark. Once she didn't come home and it got dark, that's when I really got concerned.
I didn't want to leave the house in case she turned up or she contacted me. Sat up most of the night, wouldn't lock the front door because I thought she might just turn up. I hadn't thought at that point that something might have happened to her, really. I don't think at that point.
Well, all I say to Danielle, if you're hearing, just come home. That's all I want to say.
For God's sake, come forward. I'm so desperate to get her back.
She was wearing her school uniform and was due to catch the bus from Queen Mary Avenue in East Tilbury at 8:10 a.m.
The vast majority of children who go missing with friends or with the knowledge of their friends. And instead of sheepishness and evasiveness on the part of friends, they were actively seeking Linda and Tony and seeking us to say, look, we're worried, where is she?
On the Monday, it was just the specific questions that were asked, like, is she close to any family members or anything like that, and it just sort of just sprung to mind that she is close to family members and it happens to be him.
Campbell married into the family and grew close to Danielle. He appeared to be the only person to have received a text message from her on the day she disappeared. But background checks revealed a string of convictions, including one for child abduction that Campbell had managed to keep secret since 1989.
We knew something had happened, but it was at a time where we weren't really involved, and if we spoke to Tone's mum and dad about it, it was all very much brushed. Oh no, it's nothing, it's all a big mistake. And we never really knew that much about it, and I suppose the reaction from Tone's mum and dad was, oh, it's nothing to worry, it's all a storm in a teacup, it's all been blown out of proportion, and we were led to believe that he was acquitted.
Campbell had abducted a 14-year-old schoolgirl in East Tilbury, taken her to his house and photographed her. He pleaded guilty, but having served a year on remand, was freed at the end of the trial.
All of the facts that we knew, all of the intelligence that we were developing and trying to turn into facts about the circumstances, what that left me with was a question: should I arrest him or should I not arrest him?
We're here in the search for Danielle Jones. Did you see her?
I came down on the side of arresting him to put one question to him: where's Danielle?
Can you say your name, please?
Stuart Campbell.
With reasonable grounds to believe, Stuart, you know where she is, don't you?
No.
Where is she?
The lady said to me not to say nothing, right?
Right. Can your conscience allow you to do that? You know where she is.
Right, keep the line in the middle.
What's her name?
Danielle.
Danielle.
Right, move gradually to your left as it's opening up.
You're not going to talk to her, Stuart?
Nothing to say.
In the context of our investigation, we couldn't hold him any longer. Releasing him was always a worry. I believed he was a very, very dangerous offender.
When they'd bailed him, I thought, well, they're making inquiries, he's got to be involved, for sure. And I just thought we'd go to wherever she was and release her, really. But that never happened.
At his house, police found indecent photographs that Campbell had taken of young girls, pornographic images of children he had downloaded from the internet, and a bag hidden in the loft.
It's been described by someone as his goodie bag that he keeps in the loft, and when he gets a young victim round there, he goes up in the loft, brings the bag down, and he encourages the victim either to take photographs of them or some other form of abuse. We've got photographs of young girls that Campbell has taken pictures of in underwear that, frankly, a 15-year-old girl should not be wearing.
The whole way he lived that was unravelling, that the police were telling us about. I mean, I don't know, I just think you feel sick that someone you thought you knew fairly well, you obviously didn't know at all.
We quickly uncovered a number of offences that he'd committed regarding either downloading child pornography from the internet to actually incidents with other young girls many, many years ago. These other offences were all we had evidence for to charge him, so he was charged and he was remanded in custody.
Mitch? You know the bag here?
Boys, you up? Come on then.
No,
Yeah,
let's watch the music.
okay. And we've asked them how they feel about what's happened to Danielle, and they are both devastated by it. It's something, you know, they've got to live with as well, but Mitchell's way is just, okay, I know what's happened, but I'm just getting on with things. Ryan's reacted differently as time's gone on, really. He's very angry. I feel as though he's a time bomb waiting to go off. There's not a lot I can do to stop that happening. Just keep an eye out and deal with it when it does. We had to tell Mitchell on Tuesday that he was going to have to be a witness, which he wasn't very impressed with. So we took them up to the court. That was one of the reasons we were taking them, and also so that they knew they had to see what it was like, and for Ryan to see what was going to be happening and things. Ryan actually went into a courtroom with us, and he did get upset
a little bit. I think the experience of it was the fact that when I spoke to them both last night, they've tried to sort of not have to think about what's happened and what's going to happen. Like, they know what's happened and they know there's going to be a court case, but I think they've just chosen to put it to the back of their minds and not have to deal with it. But of course, they have got to deal with it.
Hello. What are you doing, Mummy?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You got keys?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Have a good day.
Yeah.
See you later.
Tony runs his own dry cleaning business. He continues to work, but Linda has given up her job. The impending trial of a family member is causing tension between them.
It's just the biggest complication you could ever have. I have had resentment towards Tony because of that link. It's caused me to almost resent. I mean, I know it's not his fault, but it's caused me some resentment because it's like, you know, your family's caused this, which is just added resentment for me. But he knows deep down I didn't mean it, and I've said things that I thought, perhaps I shouldn't have said that. But he knows because of the situation that I'm just venting my anger, and he's been big enough to sort of accept it that way, I suppose. But it's caused a lot of resentment, yeah.
Bill, Curry, this specialist dry clean, this suede and leather clean. All right, but I mean, yeah, you're looking about a week. All right, thanks a lot. See you. Bye.
The charges against Campbell are also having effects on the wider family.
There's been a fallout with Mum and Dad, with my sister, with me nan, and we'll never ever get back together again. It's gone too far now to get back together. I do get upset here at the shop or when I'm coming to work, and I think Lynn does when I'm at work, but we try not to. I get really angry when I see Lynn so upset, and I think she's the same with me, so we try not to get upset in front of each other, really.
I was irritable with Tony, so we ended up not speaking because we had a few heated words, because I was showing my true emotions on how I felt about it, and I don't think he likes to hear that, really. So I had an early night to avoid any more confrontation, but that'll happen. I'm sure it'll happen many more times.
Everyday life still affects me very hard, and it is down to the washing and the ironing. Even now, I'm so aware I've got nothing of hers to hang on the line. I've got nothing of hers in the ironing pile, and it sounds trivial things, but they still affect me so much on a daily basis. And there's very few days that go past that there isn't some mundane part of everyday life that doesn't affect me to the point that it's something she's not doing or something I'm not doing for her. Even if it is just to say to her, can you tidy your room? I haven't got that to say anymore. And obviously this is going to be an ongoing thing. But it is an everyday event. Some days I deal with it and some days I don't. It's just eating away at me all the time. I just hope the person responsible for this pays. There'll never be an answer to it. But there's got to be some price for someone to pay for this. I'm just dreading the day I see him in there.
As the trial approaches, Linda, Tony and the boys face further torment. The court will hear Campbell's claims that prior to Danielle's disappearance, family relationships were at breaking point.
You don't understand the actual structure of the family in this house.
Explain it
With
to
no disrespect to Tone and Lynn, they sort of at their wits' end with Danielle. So much so that she can't stand being in the same room as her dad. It's just easier to try and be a middle broker between them. So you can try and get mum and dad to talk to Danielle, Danielle to give a bit there, them to give a little bit there, just to keep peace, and then the boys aren't all upset all the time.
It's been portrayed that Danielle didn't get on with Tone very well, and she always used to get on with him very well, but I did see a change in her attitude towards Tone, which I put down to her getting older. I put down to just the normal father-teenage girl relationship, but I've since learnt that that is one of his repeated actions to put a wedge between the daughters and their dads.
When he met with Danielle, he used to say to her, I wouldn't put up with this, what you're putting up with from your mum and dad. And then when he saw us, he used to say, well, I've had a chat with her and I think she's going to be better towards you. So that was the type of thing that he was doing. He was making out that he was helping both parties, but really he was sort of drawing us apart, really.
She was growing up awkwardly like children do, and at that time he was a man who said, hey, you're great, you're really nice, you're wonderful, you're a charming woman. And she was taken in by that, just like so many other young girls would be and have been.
Danielle has now been missing for more than a year. With 3 months till the trial, police step up the search for her body.
Stuart Campbell's home address is here, and then, let's say, Danielle's home address is just here. All the way around here is totally open fields, woodland, and the decision was made earlier on that all this land would be searched, the whole lot. So this is quite a good one, isn't it? I mean, because you can pull off the road, and then you've got areas either side of that, and then further up.
And overlooked again, there's a few windows through the tree, but the trees may well have been overgrown at the time. So if we just pop out, we'll go and have a quick look.
For a murder trial, evidence that there is a body is obviously vital evidence, and for that reason we wanted to keep searching right up until the trial. Notwithstanding, we also wanted to keep searching so we'd find Danielle for Tony and Linda.
We have conversations indoors. Yeah. Have you heard where they're searching this week? And I'll just say, well, not specifically. I think you're very anxious that the day will come where they won't search. I think you're a lot more anxious about that, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be upset except the day that they give up searching.
Our search has never been speculative, it's been based on intelligence, and that will continue. But the fact of life is that intelligence will now come through in dribs and drabs, as opposed to lots and lots of intelligence. So that won't necessitate searching every single day.
It'll go on until the trial, and then after the trial, if there is intelligence, we'll do it as and when.
Is that still coming in even up to now, or is this still intelligence that's coming?
There's not any new intelligence coming in.
I need to know where she is. At the moment, we don't know where she is.
If she's found, we can have a funeral, it's somewhere we can go. But as it is now, it's just left that she's dumped, and that's hard to accept.
Very hard. It's now 63 weeks since I last saw her, and 2nd of September means it's now exactly 1 month till the trial. That is really frightening. Really frightening. One month.
The trial is scheduled to last for 8 weeks at Chelmsford Crown Court. The prosecution case is that, unbeknown to Tony and Linda, Stuart Campbell had been grooming Danielle for some time.
Oh, it's finished. That is a horrible feeling, knowing now what we know, and knowing that all these years we've let this person be a trusted member of our family and come in our house and do different things with Danielle. I mean, he did take her shopping, which sounds perhaps strange in itself, but at the time, the way it was said about her, oh, I want to go and buy a few bits for the baby, or Danielle, do you want to come and help me pick? At the time, that seemed a perfectly logical reason to let her go.
Danielle had spoken with her friends about her shopping trip with Campbell. He had also taken her to the cinema, and she confided in Nicola that he had held her hand.
What are they? Fruity jelly lip gloss. Ooh, nice.
It's just kind of like in passing conversation. Oh, what did you do on your day off? Blah, 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 I did this. What did you do? She went, oh, I went to the pictures, yeah. I was like, oh, right, any good? And then she just said it, and I was like, oh, okay. I think that's when I started to think everything's not too good.
I said to Nicola, that is not right for an uncle to be doing that. Not only taking your niece shopping, fine, but then taking your niece to the pictures and holding her hand. In my world, that is not a done thing. And I made that clear to Nicola.
Don't question the fact.
No,
do
it's
you?
their uncle, and although they're not blood, it's their uncle. And,
You wouldn't question your own uncle, would you?
No, I wouldn't question my own uncle, so...
You can't really question anybody else's, could you?
I don't think at that stage it was for me to take the matter up with Lynn and Tony, because I didn't want to upset Lynn and Tony's relationship with Tony's family. It could have been construed as me interfering, and I didn't think at that point in time that was the right thing to do.
I don't know how I'm going to be when I face him in court. That makes me feel just sick, the thought of him sitting there, and just makes me feel sick. What he's put us through, what he's put the boys through. I just want to walk over and rip his heart out. It's just undescribable how we feel and how I feel, and
The detective leading the hunt for the missing schoolgirl Millie Dowler has been to woods in Hampshire where human remains have been found.
12 days before the trial, and a body has been found in Hampshire. Family liaison officer Ed Mayo knows that Linda and Tony have heard the news.
I was going to see Linda today anyway, because I've got a statement I need to take just to clarify some points. Obviously, as the trial gets closer and closer and closer, there's lots that has been asked of Linda and Tony, but the points I've asked, I just need to get them into a statement form. And then this morning, obviously, there's this body that's been found down in Hampshire.
So it could be Danielle, but where it is, I suppose, tells me it wouldn't be. But there is that little
hope that it could be.
Alan Betts from Hampshire Police, who's leading the inquiry, says they still don't know whether it's Millie Dowler.
Linda accepts, Anthony accepts that Danielle is dead, and to actually have Danielle back would be a relief. So when this sort of thing does sort of happen, they do really, in a strange way, want it to be Danielle. I mean, it's something they want to do. They want to bury Danielle. They want to have the choice of where their daughter goes, basically.
If it isn't who they think it is it a possibility? But I think we both.
Obviously, the indications are looking like that it is Millie. It's wrong that you should hope that it is your dead son or daughter.
Yeah, it is hard to understand, but I am in some ways envious. I was envious when Holly and Jessica were found, because that's the one thing we really know.
If you remember Diane Lamplin, I think she said she was envious of you because you opened your day at court.
Yeah.
Because she's not got Susie back and no court case, where at least she said you opened a court case.
And I think if you were to give me the option of having my day in court or her back, I'd have her back.
Yeah.
If it was one or the other, I'd choose to have her back.
In the last hour, Hampshire Police have confirmed that the body found in woodland near Fleet is the missing schoolgirl, Millie Dowler. Forensic teams have been examining the remains all day and tests have been carried out this afternoon.
The police made this statement.
Our worst fears have been confirmed, and I can now tell you that the search for Millie has changed from a missing person inquiry into a murder investigation.
It just breaks my heart to think about where she is. Because I think on the news over the weekend, yesterday or whatever day it was, they were saying about Millie Dowler's body. The fact that it's been 6 months since she went missing and the body's been found, and how decomposed it was after 6 months. I think they said the elements had taken their toll. And I think what disturbed me most, they said that wildlife had obviously had an effect on the condition of her body. And it just makes me... What condition's my little girl in? We've got a pre-trial press briefing, which I am anxious about, because the media are going to be there, and I think there's going to be some time for them to take photographs or whatever it is they need to do. And I do find dealing with the media quite distressing. Just sitting there, having them all sitting looking at you, I'm not comfortable with at all. And then when all the cameras start flashing, I don't like that one little bit.
Turn your cross your legs the other way, just so that you're... That's it.
Every time they meet the media, it's difficult. They'll never get used to that. I think they're becoming hardened to it now. Every time another event like that takes place, it reminds them of how significant events in their life have become.
Linda, if I could start with you, tell me about the last time you saw Danielle.
Well, it was the morning that she left for school. Just a very normal morning. Got up, got dressed, said goodbye, see you later, and that. It was just so normal.
So, without further ado, I'll pass you over to Steve Reynolds.
Good morning. I am determined to find Danielle's body. The searches will stop at the end of this month. They will, however, be resumed whenever we receive any intelligence that justifies a further search. Now, the date for the searches ceasing actually coincides with the start of the trial. And whilst it was always my intention to continue searching up to the start of the trial, actually we have now come to the end of the intelligence packages which have been repaired, looking at likely deposition sites. But I do stress, and I've reassured Tony and Linda of this, that whenever we get any intelligence which may identify another possible site, we will resume our search.
And talked about previous cases where murders have been successfully prosecuted without a body, but clearly that set a tremendous threshold for us to overcome even before we considered evidence against Mr. Campbell. What we were able to say was that our evidence was all circumstantial. Having said that, it was compelling. After Danielle went missing, given all the contact, all the attempts to phone her, to text her by her friends, by her family, there was only one person in the world that Danielle tried to contact, and that was Campbell. And she's allegedly texted him on the Monday, and then allegedly texted him on the Tuesday. Now, I don't believe she did text him. What I believe is that Campbell had those two phones, his own and her phone, in his possession, and that he used her phone to text him with a very spurious message that was intended to indicate that she was safe and well. I think as the evidence of those text messages come out in court, they will be one of the most compelling parts that shows that Campbell was responsible for her abduction.
Thank God that's over, because I was a little bit anxious about it. I suppose our next big day now is next Wednesday, when the trial begins. I do find it quite good talking to myself, because whereas I'm normally sitting here with this all going over in my mind about what's happened through the day or whatever, I do find it quite a relief to be able to speak out loud, knowing there's a purpose because this is being recorded, but without sitting here feeling, my God, I'm going mad, I'm talking to myself. It's sort of like a self-counselling session, I suppose, but I do find it useful, and just to unburden my thoughts, really.
We know the person that's done it, so I don't really know how I'm going to be at the time when the court case, when it actually comes up. I know I've got to stay composed at the time, but it's going to be very hard to do that.
In the weeks before Danielle's disappearance, Linda and Tony began to get annoyed by Campbell's constant intrusions.
Well, the amount of times he was coming round, I mean, it was like four times a week, 5 times a week, and I thought this is not a normal relationship.
It got to a point where it was becoming so regular, I was getting fed up with it.
And I thought, well, rather than cause a big row in the family, I'll try and get Danielle to say to him, you know, not to come round so much.
I just sort of said to her, oh, Danielle, it's not. Why does he keep meeting you from the bus? Why can't he accept you want to be with your own friends?
He was there and he was standing outside his van and he was just standing there making sure that everybody knew he was there. And he was there for her and she was embarrassed by it. It was like 4 double-decker buses stop there, all the kids pile off and he's standing there and it's for her and she's quite embarrassed. She doesn't want attention drawn to her, does she?
He was sitting on the settee, on the arm of the settee. Danielle was sitting next to him and he kept saying, why are you so embarrassed, Danielle? Why are you going so red? And then I said to him, what was the problem? And he just brushed it off, and I said, what's the problem between you and Danielle? And all he said was, there's no problem.
They had a dilemma. Well, they could confront Campbell over what seemed to be quite innocuous, isolated acts. His reaction was undoubtedly going to be horror and anger. How can you possibly suggest this to me? I'm trying to support and love and care for your daughter, doing everything an uncle could ever be expected to do, and you throw it back in my face with allegations like this. That would destroy a family, just the conversation. And what if they were wrong? What if there was nothing at all other than a loving uncle supporting a niece?
Police believe that just before Danielle went missing, Campbell was becoming increasingly dangerous. While the family was away on holiday, he had been into her bedroom and left 2 notes. Danielle never mentioned this to her mother, but again confided in Nicola.
Having a note found in her bedroom, and for her not to be there when it was put there,
it was out of control of her, was it?
It was out of her control. It means he's been there while she's away, and that's a line that that person shouldn't cross. Whether they're your best friend or whoever, they shouldn't do that. And she knew that, and she didn't like that. And I don't think I would either, and I didn't like that. I felt concerned for her. It was like, how did he get in? You know, he must. You know, it's tiny questions that go through your head, and they all build up to one big answer.
He kept a diary, what we've called the Danielle diary, where really any contact with her, even any sort of telephone call or text message, he's actually recorded in his diary. So what started off as very little interest in his niece ended up with a complete obsession.
It has been 67 weeks today since I saw Danielle, and it is now less than 36 hours till the trial starts, and I've sort of been to bed for a couple of hours and I've taken the normal tablets, but I'm struggling tonight to be able to switch off, really. I think it's all just getting a bit too much.
Right, good morning. Again, back to Operation Spinning Clouds, been out for the last final days now. What I'd like to do is obviously thank everyone for their time over the last 15 months. I know it has been hard work, but also just to make sure that people are still switched on and concentrating. Is there any questions at all? Right, okay, then let's go. Thank you.
Cheers. Let's go.
I think the worst part is that we've not found Danielle. It would have been nice if we had found her, so it's something for the parents. I think that's something that the whole team feels, really.
It's just a question of where the SIO draws the line, really. And you can only give him advice, and he makes his decisions based on those. But you could search the rest of the world, so you have got to stop somewhere.
Okay.
I know the searching has stopped, and they've searched solidly for 16 months, and that was quite hard to swallow. The torment of it all is never going to go away, never going to go away. But I just hope and pray that at some point she is found. I think I'm in a little bit of disbelief that today's the day, actually. I do feel a bit het up, a bit, I don't know, I feel strange today. I am very, very nervous. Feel a little bit sicky, to be honest, but I think that is nerves and everything. But I just wanted a quick word with his mum to say that today is the day, and let's hope we get through it okay. I'll speak to you later.
Tony and Linda's 16-month wait is over. Their brother-in-law, Stuart Campbell, is standing trial for the kidnap and murder of their daughter. It will be the first time that they have come face to face with him since Danielle's disappearance.
This is the person that's done this to our daughter. I was absolutely livid the first time I went into court. I did manage to calm myself down after I've been sitting in there about 2 minutes. I had to go there and see him for the first time, just to get that over with. To get the anger, I think, out of me.
I just want to get in there and stand up in there and say, that bastard sitting over there is responsible for this. You know it, we know it. Why are we going through this pantomime? That's what I want to go in there and say. Even if he gets found guilty, in a way that's only the start. That's the start of him hopefully telling us where she is. Well, if anyone ever has the speck of doubt that someone in their family is doing something that they're not happy with, then the worst that can happen is you can have an argument about it. If it's nothing, then it's nothing, you'll get over it. But if it turns out to be something, God's sake, don't ever let yourself be sitting here where I am. You get over an argument, you can't get over this. Because if it can happen in our family, who I would have said was a perfectly normal, functioning family, minor disputes within the household, and I can't think about a household that wouldn't have minor disputes. Then believe me, it can happen to anyone.
On Thursday, the 19th of December, after an 11-week trial, Stuart Campbell was found guilty of kidnapping and murdering Danielle. Police planned to speak to him on Christmas Eve, but he refused to meet detectives and so far has not revealed where Danielle's body is hidden.
If you've been affected by the issues on tonight's programme and would like details of organisations that can offer information and support, then call the BBC Action Line on 0800 888809. Lines are open until midnight every day. All calls are free and confidential.